Welcome to a Now Explain Rough Cut video. This video is part of our manual bookkeeping series. You can find related videos on our YouTube channel or search the internet for a Now Explain Rough Cut. So now, let's get explaining. Double entry bookkeeping, what it is and why we use it for bookkeeping. What you need to be familiar with: source documents, day books, sales, bank, purchases, petty cash daybook, the general journal daybook. These daybooks will be used to supply data to prepare ledgers. And other terminology you should understand are debits and credits, ledgers. So, the double entry system for bookkeeping. What is double entry bookkeeping? The double entry bookkeeping system requires that for every entry you record in the general ledger, that the entry is entered on the double. That is, you record it twice. Once as a debit value and once as a credit value. So you have a double entry. The double entry bookkeeping system ensures values are always in balance. The double entry bookkeeping system uses the terms debit and credit instead of the terms adding and subtracting or positive and negative. There is always a debit side, the left hand side, and a credit side, the right hand side. A value is either held as a debit value or a credit value and not as a positive value or a negative value. Both sides must always balance. That is, the debit values must always be equal to the credit values. It is like a perfectly balanced weighing scale. One side can never be heavier than the other. If one side is heavier than the other, then a balancing weight must be added. With the double entry bookkeeping system, the total of all debit values must always equal the total of all credit values. So, for every debit, there must be a credit. If you post a debit value and don't post a credit value, then the ledgers won't balance. If the debits and credits don't balance, then you know there is a mistake in one or more of your ledgers. Here is an example using this sales invoice. The invoice values are broken down into the debit and credit values. In this example, the debit total value is €62.50 and the credit total value is €62.50. There are two credit values that make up the total of one debit value. That's 50 plus 12.50 equals 62.50. Multiple debits and multiple credits can be combined to ensure that debit values equal credit values. The double entry bookkeeping system uses ledger cards to record all the debit and credit values. The ledger cards are laid out using a T format. The ledger cards are used to record the information recorded in the daybooks into a structured format that allows financial reports to be created, such as a profit and loss statement. Daybooks record individual daily transactions. They don't provide easy access to financial information that can tell you if you are making money. The ledger cards use debits and credits to calculate balances. These balances can tell you how much you have sold, how much you've spent, the value of assets you own, e.g. buildings, the liabilities you have, e.g. taxes or bank loans. It is important to remember that there is no plus or minus or positive or negative values used in double entry bookkeeping. A value is never a positive or a negative value, but is either a debit or a credit value. Examples: an asset is recorded as a debit value and a sale is recorded as a credit value. An expense is recorded as a debit value and a bank loan as a credit value. Here are the rules for using debit and credit. So the five main financial headings are either going to be a debit or credit by default. Now, it's important to note, in many cases, computerized bookkeeping and accounting computerized software, these systems display negative and positive values, a plus or a minus symbol, to make information on screen easier to read, but it does not indicate whether the value is a debit or a credit. While not part of the double entry bookkeeping system, the daybooks are used in the creation of the general ledgers. The daybooks contain the source information that will be used to complete the general ledgers. The daybooks can be laid out and written up in a way to allow the easy creation of the general ledgers. The daybooks are the source of the information for the ledger, and the daybooks are completed using the source documents. The information stored in the daybooks is used to prepare the ledgers using the double entry system rules of debits and credits. So here's our sales daybook and the column analysis descriptions that are going to be used in a general ledger. And down at the bottom of the screen, you can see the debit and credit values and whether a column is going to be a debit or a credit. So, the rules of double entry bookkeeping. The total of all debit values must always equal the total of all credit values. For every debit value, there must be an equivalent credit value. Debits must always be on the left-hand side of a T account, and credits must always be on the right-hand side of a T account. The general ledger. When you work with debits and credits, the answer you get is always a balancing value. If the debit value is less than the credit value, then there must be a balancing debit value. If the credit value is less than the debit value, then there must be a balancing credit value. So for more information, please go to nowexplained.com. Thank you for watching.